Visalia, California, and transferred to NewSchool as a third-year student. During her time, she has been on the president's list for all 3 years. She has projects showcased at NewSchool events and several projects recognized in publications. Her thesis has allowed her to expand her interest in adaptive reuse by exploring the balance of change and memory within a city. Madison is also earning a minor in construction management, and she is currently discussing upcoming opportunities with a few firms and is excited to pursue her architectural adventure. Please join me in welcoming Madison Pullen to speak on behalf of the undergraduate students.
So I've heard from friends from other schools that graduation is the time that everybody looks around the room and realizes that you don't know half of your classmates. Well, I'm sorry to burst the bubble for some of you, because even if you tried, that's nearly impossible here at NewSchool. Whether it was in a team to build a model out of a shoebox for Dan, or in a group scrambling to compile construction documents for Merkovich, the camaraderie built between our class is something I will forever treasure. I felt that this speech should be a subject that every student at NewSchool, being architecture, construction management, interior design, creativity, through taking the path less traveled, not being afraid to fail, or ultimately through the all-encompassing, design-centric proverb to think outside of the box. So whatever facet of life has spurred your individual interest in design, from watching a parent in the construction world to falling in love with the way spaces make you feel. Or maybe you were like me, playing with Barbies and propping up hardcover books for walls, taking home tile samples from Lowe's to designate the kitchen area, or using the top of a bookshelf as the getaway space for the Barbie whose hair I colored pink with highlighter. Okay, maybe that one was just me. But design is this all-encompassing tool that enables us to explore life in a unique and personal way. The tricky part about thinking outside of the box is that at first it seems like an easy task, but when attempted, it tends to yield a bit of frustration. For me, it's back to elementary school, when my teacher would look over a writing assignment of mine with misspelled words, and in effort to help, they'd tell me to sound the words out. And I remember being so frustrated, thinking, how did they think I came up with this collection of words in the first place? I'm sure at the moment many of you heard the out-of-the-box analogy, you thought to yourselves, not this again, especially the ones in a cap and gown. But being a design school, I don't think this seemingly motivational cliche could be better suited. There's a reason this way of thinking continues to repeat itself. It's the ultimate task of pushing boundaries. I'd like all of you to pause for a moment and think of a box placed in front of you and ask yourselves, what size is it? Can it fit in the palm of your hand, or is it as big as this theater? And what material is it made of? Is it austere and sleek like concrete, or is it malleable and elastic like rubber? And ultimately, how might you think outside of it? Among the hundreds of boxes floating in and out of our consciousness of this theater, not a single one of them are alike. Creativity belongs to all of us and allows many solutions to a single problem. And as you can imagine, struggling with spelling, I became very creative with mixing and matching the words I actually knew how to spell. And even now in my collegiate days, when I come across a test with the writing response portion, and I couldn't remember if it's an A or an E, or if this is one of those exceptions to the I before E rule, I write both letters one over the other, anticipating that the professor correcting my paper would assume I knew the correct configuration. You see, this statement is posed to drive creativity, but I believe it is also there for us to discover ourselves, as students and now as graduates. We must ask ourselves, who are we, not only in a design aspect, but in our attitude, our ethics, our goals, and ultimately our willingness. NewSchool has framed a box filled with what have become lifelong friends and new perspectives. There are some things in life that, no matter how many times people recite them to you, The only way of truly understanding is through experience, and this is our experience. We have to be willing to be wrong and willing to be right while everyone thinks we're wrong. I can't tell you how many times I've despised that jagged red underline after finishing an essay, telling me I'm wrong. I see spelling as this box of rules and regulations that I have to abide by, but give me a pen and a sketchbook and my thoughts become more real than any arrangement of letters could ever make them. That brings us to now, at the end of our awaited journey, about to receive a degree whose logo is literally the name sitting right beside of our yellow box. And I believe this box has been placed around us during our years of attendance to not only learn about our field of study, but about ourselves. To all of my fellow classmates, look back to the version of yourselves right before you step foot into new school. And the undeniable result among us all is that we've grown. It is our time to cultivate our creativity, and it is our time to think outside of the box. Thank you.